What's up, everybody? Welcome back to RacingDudes.com, and we're back with our Breeders' Cup Classic rankings. We kind of took a week off last week. Not much happened. Kind of felt like there would be some stuff happening, though, on the racetrack that weekend. So decided to let that all unfold, and then we'd come back and unleash a new ranking for you guys. So we got the top 10, like I said. You get to vote in the top 10 Breeders' Cup Classic rankings each week leading up to the race. And things have changed after a Pennsylvania Derby that saw Taiba run extremely well. So without further ado, let's put it up on the screen now. There you go. The Breeders' Cup Classic top 10 rankings, according to me, heading into another weekend of racing. I'll kind of talk about a couple horses that we might see this weekend. So let's kick it off. Number 10 is Zandon, second in the Pennsylvania Derby. And I think by now, when it comes to 3-year-old races of high magnitude, this horse is going to get second or third. We've seen it over and over and over again. Still a big fan of Zandon, just not a fan of betting him to win. And that's the deal. He's just an underneath horse in races of that caliber, that grade 1 level or tough grade 2 level. And if you can drop him down to a race, say, like the Bluegrass, which is the last time we saw him win, and he faces Smile Happy instead of Epicenter and Taiba and Cyberknife, he'll beat you. But if they go to the Classic, look, he fits. He's got a shot. I don't know, to maybe hit the board, but that's it. And that's all that horse is going to be until we see improvement out of him. So he will be number 10. Number 9 is Hot Rod Charlie. We're going to see him in the Lucas Classic this weekend against Rich Strike at Churchill Downs. So that'll be fun. We'll see if Hot Rod Charlie can pick up a win. As we know, he's a lot like Zandon. He has trouble winning, but he's always around, always with a chance. Number 8 is American Revolution. At this point, it's like, well, we got to rank somebody on there. I think he's a little bit better than Hot Rod Charlie and Zandon, but another one probably wasting his time if he enters the Classic. I don't think any of the three I just listed are really going to make an impact. Number 7 is Country Grammar. He got beat by a million miles by Flightline, but he's still a horse with a good, solid resume going 1.25 miles. He deserves to be 7. He's another one. He's going to have to improve off that recent form, but he's up there at least with a chance. Number 6 is Happy Saver. This is another one. He just never really threatens to win, but he certainly can hit the board, and maybe he can hit the board at a big price in the Classic. We'll kind of see how Happy Saver comes into the race. Maybe we'll see him this weekend and kind of get one final judgment on him. Number 5, Olympiad. He's only had one poor race this year. It did come in the Whitney. It was a big spot to have a poor race, but he bounced back with a nice win in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. He certainly is one I think that can hit the board in this case as well. No matter what he does, he's had a great year. Pat this horse on the back. He's done a tremendous job. Great season for Olympiad. We'll see if he can end it with a solid performance in the Classic. Number 4, and this is our biggest mover, Pennsylvania Derby winner Taiba jumps all the way up to number 4. He earned a 108 buyer speed figure for the win at Parks in the Pennsylvania Derby. I thought he was really good. I was very impressed. Had him singled and everything, had him bet to win, really had a lot of money going through Taiba, and he came through, and sometimes that does kind of jump up your bias, but when it comes to these rankings. But more than anything, I think he finally showed the talent. I think they finally learned exactly what his trip needs to be. He finished strong. He was pulling away at the end as well. So a lot of good signs, a lot of talent. I did not go crazy and put him number 2. I still think, we'll talk about the number 3 horse now, I guess, Epicenter. I still think Epicenter might be a touch better than him. I think he's developed pretty darn well. His speed figure was a little higher in winning the Travers than Taiba's for the Pennsylvania Derby, but they're comparable. And that's the thing. Taiba has now jumped into the conversation where if Flightline doesn't show up, Taiba's got a shot to win it. He's got just as good a shot as Epicenter, in my opinion. I think they're right there together. I think Epicenter versus Taiba in a race, for 3-year-olds, if there was one left, there's not. But if there was, I think that'd be amazing to see those two match up. I think they're very close. I think it'd be a coin flip one way or the other. So Epicenter at number 3, like I said, really loved his Travers. That was at 1.25 miles. I just love what this horse has become. He's just become a fantastic, fantastic horse. So give him a lot of credit there at number 3. Number 2's Life is Good. Most people would disagree with this still. I don't think he's any good at 1.25 miles. I'm willing to kind of throw out what I saw over in Dubai. I don't take those races all too seriously as far as when they come back over here. He's been pretty damn flawless in this country. You can't argue that. I will say this. He did not look fantastic finishing up the Whitney at 1 1/8 miles. I kind of believe the track was a little sticky that day, kind of bothered him. He's going 1 1/8 miles in the Woodward. We're going to find out, right? We're going to find out this weekend. This weekend, the Woodward, he's going to go 2 turns again, going long. Hopefully it's a fast track and we can give a real fair judgment of what he is. I'm going to watch this race very, very closely. How he finishes up is going to matter. And maybe not. I mean, you want him to win, obviously, but if he wins and he doesn't close up all that well, it's like, okay, maybe the 1.25 miles, I'm going to back off and I'm going to put Epicenter above him or maybe Taiba above him. But I expect a big performance out of him this weekend in the Woodward. So keeping him right there at number 2 until he does something to tell me otherwise. And of course, number 1 is Flightline. And it's just a situation, guys, no matter how you try to look at it. There's 2 ways to beat him. 1, he's not in the race. 2, he absolutely just does not show up. And both those things could happen. Flightline's been missing races for a lot of his career. Maybe he won't show up that day. If he doesn't, kind of the consolations prize is we got a really competitive classic and a very good betting classic. If he does, the big prize is you get to see Flightline live and in person. So he could always not show up, though. They'll always bounce. That happens. It happens to a lot of them. So we'll see. But as far as talent goes, as far as resume goes, he's pretty good. And by the way, he improved going 1.25 miles. So even scarier for the rest of these. Flightline, obviously number 1. He has been all year long since we started it. So there it is. That's the new top 10 for the Breeders' Cup. We'll be back next week for the Breeders' Cup Classic top 10 rankings. Like I said, got a couple of horses that are going to run, and we certainly will be here to re-rank if we need to, or maybe it'll stay exactly the same. We'll see what happens. So, all right, guys, thank you all for watching it this week. I'll see you right back here next week for more Breeders' Cup Classic top 10 rankings.